I would somehow set the stage by obviously asking Dr. Futsum on what has been perhaps the government's priorities the past year or so, since this is almost the fourth time we're having this forum, and how have these reforms translated into creating opportunities to private sector, and are you getting, the investments, both domestic and foreign, in terms of, filling in those gaps that the macroeconomic reform has anticipated to be filled by the private sector? Thank you.
Ethiopia is undergoing, a fundamental reset in terms of reforms since 2018, as you know. So at the heart of this huge economic reset, among other things, is, of course, unlocking investment-led growth.
Jamal will tell us if his factories are now, producing at full capacity. Is he expanding? What are really the opportunities he's looking after, especially from this year to the next possible forum? So, Jamal, to you, thanks.
Well, I cannot say our minister was wrong. Nevertheless, whatever Her Excellency said is so true. We do have a practical figures to justify it. We had been in a roller coaster in the last 3 decades with different hiccups in Ethiopia. So many things have changed in terms of policy or how we work and what we look after. However, I have always been saying the main culprit for Ethiopia's poverty had been the communism-driven mindset by our regulator and policymakers. In the last 8 years, that has made a paradigm shift. So all our policies has been driven into a competition and a liberal market. The last major policy change, the macroeconomic policy had been doing so many changes in Ethiopia, but 2 years ago when the Forex regime, the change has made a huge positive impact, not only to us, to Midrock as a producer, but also to the main performers of our GDP, the smallholders. The smallholders who are producing commodities, their revenue quadrupled in the last 2 years. That has catalyzed the economy. Midrock definitely has benefited from it. As you rightly said, Doctor, we were able, because of the Forex regime change, to utilize our manufacturing enterprises to full capacity. Yes, we have a very competitive market. Our margins is leather thin. Nevertheless, because of the volume we attained, we have increased our profitability. You said you read $500 million, is that in dollar? Nevertheless, yes, we did make our profit and revenue in 7 months what we made last year. So it's quite an achievement. Thank you.
I think Magalu, wearing that foreign investor hat, that perhaps as a key institution that has been with Ethiopia, been good and bad, how has this set of reforms translated into actual investment opportunities for IC? And going forward, again from this year to next, what are you looking at as
When it comes to big businesses like my brother Ato Jamal here, we're also looking at how can we look at the capital markets and use the capital markets to be able to mobilize sufficient local currency financing that the businesses need. So we are also focusing on the financial sector as well. So for us, Ethiopia, it's a growth story for us. It is, I think, not just ready for business, but ready to expand business. Because at the moment, we are looking to see how we can really grow the private sector. And on that one, I'm looking at all 3 arms of the World Bank Group. We have the World Bank that works closely on the public sector side to ensure there is the policy direction and also looking at the public investments that are required to really unlock private sector. We are looking at MIGA to be able to de-risk the investments that are possible in Ethiopia. So really excited to be here. And I think anyone that wants to hear more, we are happy to discuss. We have a team from IFC that is here showing to the potential that we are seeing in the country. And we are happy to share the stories that we have on real growth that we are seeing for the private sector.
Wei, you had, I don't know, a 2-decade experience in Ethiopia. Personally, I think I remember you 15 years ago, or I don't know, 11 years ago, in one of those industrial parks. And I think CCCC is a little bit beyond a construction company. You have a sort of a perspective on the competitiveness of the economy, because you either anchor projects behind government, behind private sector. If you could just tell us, what makes Ethiopia competitive compared to other peers in the region, and I think also feel free to add remarks into what more can we do to be in the top tier investment destination, not only in Africa but now the world.
In the past experience, what I've noticed, particularly in the past 80 years, there are Beautifying Addis Ababa initiative, there are Diverse Generation initiative, there are Green Legacy initiative, and there are also homegrown economic reforms. All these initiatives, when it was launched, it is now executed. Now we see working in the beautiful Addis Ababa, where you travel in different resorts, Arbaminch, Bali, Shabelle, Avash, all these resorts, you find that these initiatives are actually executed and delivered. So strong and promising leadership would give the full confidence for all the investors. I think that is one of the biggest and strongest attractive for Ethiopia. Second, about the public-private dialogue. I've participated in 2 in last year that was organized and participated by His Excellency Ambassador Germa, the highest level in the macro committee. And the problems reported through the dialogue has been well addressed. Immediate actions has been taken to address the problems that could be solved immediately, and the long-term mechanism had been arranged. And I see the recent consultations about the investors. Those points has been mentioned, and I have seen that the potential arrangement about those bottlenecks has been properly arranged and will be solved. I have full confidence in that. So taking care about the pains of the investors from our own, the existing investors here is the most supporting and gives the most confidence to our actual business here. So this is about the attractiveness. Thank you.
To ask this question to Dr. Futsum, I must say, working on investment climate for the past decade, those are the problems that we wish we have. We had top-tier major policy reform needs that government took as a taboo, including FX reform, including some of the liberalization reforms that government has to take. I think visa issues should be the list of government's problems. But Dr. Futsum, what are we doing in terms of having the whole of government approach in supporting private sector, including broader business climate? Obviously, investors are concerned. It's natural that the door doesn't shut after they're into the economy. So how has the government created the platforms to listen to private sector's opinions and feedback, and how has been our reaction on that? Thank you.
With the reforms, one of the important areas that we identified as a challenge and gap, and we have to be deliberate about is, creating platforms that really bring the whole of government approach and better alignment of, the agencies that are most relevant to, investment sector. So in this regard, some of the things that we have been working on include like bringing together key institutions on these big platforms. Case in point is the investment board itself, chaired by His Excellency the Prime Minister, removing, the mid-level bureaucratic bottlenecks and bringing challenge to the attention of the highest decision-making structure. So that was one of the areas. I think we have been successful in that regard. But in addition to that, there are several initiatives like the PPD, the public-private dialogue forums that my brother mentioned earlier, led by Ethiopian Investment Commission. It really is being done regularly. So it's a mechanism which is operation-oriented, allows investors to really present their challenge, the issues that they need to be improved. So in that regard, these challenges have been our top priorities in terms of really addressing the bottlenecks that we have in this economy.
Maybe Jamal, for next year, where are you putting your money? And while you're at it, an advice to those that haven't really made decisions yet to invest in Ethiopia, haven't made decisions to expand in Ethiopia. Any words around those things?
I thought we were going to go to the challenge later on, but since it has already been tabled, I would like to address that as well, if you don't mind. As I said, there were conducive environment has been created step by step, and major paradigm shift policy change has been done. The macroeconomic reform has done quite a lot. The investment policies, the regulators, the way they are structured are totally different. More into business friendly, accessibility is there, liberalization is there, government commitment into infrastructural investment is visible, changes is also visible. However, having the right policy alone and the right commitment alone by the political leadership is not enough. As Mr. Wayne stated, there are issues need to be addressed, but not only from the regulator side, from the investor side as well. So I do see our biggest problem in the regulator side, that there is a blank judgment for investors needs to be addressed. Some of the specific issues like raised on the visa is, I do believe, something that the Ethiopian government need to address ASAP, not only for skilled manpower, but also for our tourists, as tourism is the main pillar of our homegrown economic reform. The Minister of Finance and Her Excellency, the Minister of Planning Investment, need to address the incentive of the proclamation, which, because we start from scratch, our investment in hotels, in industry, in tourism industry is very low. So we do need incentive to attract investors. And access to Ethiopia should be very simple and free for conference, tourists, skilled worker. Yes, Ethiopia is young. Our population is growing, very young and skilled, could be trained. We have a local power that we need to nurture, but also we need to bring expats and train our people to the bigger target that we have. Having said that, in the business environment is very profitable, lucrative in Ethiopia, almost in every discipline. We in Midrock are very diverse. I have 80,000 people working, and my clusters are scattered across every discipline: agriculture, manufacturing, mining, service, building. So it's a litmus paper to test where the economy is. And all of our companies are profitable and growing very fast. This gives us big hope. But also Ethiopia is growing. The image is changing. The perception is changing. That has also led us to recraft our strategy. So you ask where I'm going to invest. 10 years ago, to look at investing in import substitution was very discouraging. We had no appetite for that. Now there is a major push from the government and opening up the space. So we are investing in a downward integrated resource development in manufacturing, through mining, agriculture, but also in the tourism industry. We're not only 130 million people, we are the origin of many things. We are a very big country with a blessed resource of natural or historical. We need to showcase that. Our Prime Minister is very much committed and focused. And as my colleague, my friend, Mr. Wayne said, the DINE project has demonstrated how fast and better it could be executed. So that led us to invest, and we tied up with Marriott, the world's largest hotel operators, and we are investing 10 Marriott hotels in Ethiopia, in Jimma, in Hawassa, in Addis. And my sister, Madalo and IFC are in partner with us, and we're doing very good. And also we're investing in agriculture. Unfortunately, I'm the only one in large-scale agriculture investment in Ethiopia. There was not a conducive policy, but there is endowed resources, human resource, natural resource. The only thing lacking was the right policy and the right capital. Now the policy is there, so we're mobilizing our capital into large-scale investment in lowland, fertile, irrigable lands in Ethiopia. And our investment in the highland agriculture is also growing. We're doing a new thing, like we are the largest coffee plantation owner in the world, around 25,000 hectares. And we also have in Ethiopia 5 million coffee growers. So, well, our export is growing in 2-3 folds. The major players are smallholders, be it in gold or coffee or whatever. And government is not there. It's a private sector. So that's a very good thing. As a private sector needs to commercialize it. Like in gold, so far, I am the only commercial gold miner. So we're investing big to make it 2-3 folds more. And there are others coming, but also in agriculture, we're doing that. In tea, I can give you one example, tea. We are the monopoly in tea. The Midrock 2 tea estates are the ones supplying the entire nation, and we're also exporting because we increase productivity and develop outgrowers. That had been noticed by the government, by the Prime Minister and Oromi President, and now they're developing 30,000 hectares of tea estate by smallholders, and we're participating with them to do the processing investment. So where I'm going next year is very vast and very big. In hospitality sector, we're investing big. In real estate, we're investing big. In manufacturing, particularly with downward integrated resource development manufacturing, we're going very big. We're also doing large-scale plantation. Thank you.
Madalo, maybe similar words for development partners, foreign financial institutions. Where are you heading also as an IFC in terms of your investment and your priorities next year? Thanks.
Thank you very much. I think at the outset, I must say that as DFIs like IFC, we are not just passive observers. We are also actively engaged in creating the investment opportunities. And going forward as IFC, we are looking at our role not just to finance individual transactions, but to also create the impact that is needed. So when we see it at IFC, we always say that we look at Midrock. Ato Jamal mentioned they have over 80,000 employees. So we look at it and say, how can we create more Midrocks in the economy so that we have the right kind of impact to address the growing challenges, but also to achieve the private sector growth that is needed. So as IFC, we stand ready to support the growth of the country. We already mentioned the sectors that we think offer potential, but we're also looking at the role that we can play as a World Bank Group partner to be able to mobilize private capital, provide the financing needs that the economy needs, partner with new entrants to be able to meet these opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you. Have a good day.